the form of Kevin Duda, who is going to be playing his Svelte red deck, which is neither low to the ground in aggro, nor is it large, but it has some very fun discard synergies. They're going to be going up against Alex, who was on Gruul Delirium last week, but has added a color to that list and made it Temur, but is on a completely different type of deck now. Temur Lotus.
Temur Lotus. I'm curious what that entails, Temur Lotus. There has been a Lotus Field deck running around that plays artist talents. I don't know if that's the exact list Alex is playing, but curious to see it in action.
I do know that Alex was in the Discord earlier, which you can join if you scan the QR code on your screen, looking for artist talents. So it might be something along those lines, as we do wind up having just here a quick little turn 1 Den of the Bugbear and a Kumano Faces Kakazan coming out from Duda. Just the kind of standard mono red start of doing things that deal damage.
Yeah. Kumano kind of, as Patrick Sullivan would say, kind of a cheat mode for mono red decks. Games with Kumano turn 1 are so much different than games without it.
Yeah, definitely. Especially because you wind up getting a 2/2 haste just for playing a card early on and dealing some damage. We have Sylvan Scrying and Lotus Field. So Alex's deck kind of setting up pretty early and doing the thing it wants to do.
Yeah, of note, Alex is on the play this game. So Lotus Field traditionally is like a turn 5 kind of combo deck. So Duda has 3 more turns now to try to kill Alex, probably. Although, to be fair, Alex does have the mana Confluence, and the little damage from Confluence can add up, especially against the red deck that you're trying to dink and dime. Okay. That's
not the start you want from the red deck, that's for sure.
Yeah, Spikefield Hazard, play tapped. Basically just wasting the +1/+1 counter from Kumano. That's not ideal. I see a couple burn spells in the hand, but I don't know what follow-up Duda actually has. Okay, we see a sleight of hand from Alex. Probably just going to play the Lotus Field this turn.
Yeah, might just be trying to get all of our value out of our mana as possible. We saw Tin Fang doing that in the last round with a slightly different take on the Lotus Field control deck. But yeah, just using that sleight of hand, looking at the top 2, putting 1 in our hand, 1 on the bottom, and then just playing that Lotus Field. So we got 3 mana available for Alex. But here comes the cheat code flipping on over into Etching of Kumano. But does Duda have a turn 3 play? We know his deck can get a little chonky, has some Bone Crusher Giants, some FOMOs, and some Inties, but looks like just going to be a 3-drop here after a quick swing, and that's the Stromkirk Occultist. All right. We had a very interesting look at this card last week. This is a bit of a blast from the past, so to speak, as this signals those madness discard synergies that Duda is running in his deck.
The rest of Duda's hand does not look that good, though. I think I saw like a Lightning Axe and like what is it, like a Fiery Impulse or some kind of thing?
Yeah, I think there's a Fiery Temper, which is like the Madness Lightning Bolt, right? So he's got direct damage, but it's going to be a tall order to deal 16 to Alex when he's going to start untapping some stuff. Yeah, we already got the mana counters coming out. All right, Alex knows what's up in the feature match area. All right, so here we go. We're going to start doing some Lotus Field stuff, especially with this card coming down, Artist Talent. All right, talk to me about how this Artist Talent is taking over Pioneer. We saw it in Phoenix last week. It stole a game from the Demons deck, and now it's coming up in Lotus Field.
Yeah, this is very new tech for the Lotus Field decks, where what you're trying to do here is similar to how something like a Horror of the Pages, you're just drawing cards and discarding and untapping. What your Artist Talent lets you use hidden strings kind of in that mode, where with Lotus, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get up to a sort of critical mass of mana to play a kind of like single game win the card kind of thing. Something like a what was it, the Sultai Ultimatum, Emergent Ultimatum, something like that. So you don't actually need like card quantity in your hand as a Lotus player. Although it doesn't look like Alex found anything else.
No, it looks like Alex instead just using the other modes of Artist Talent, which the Phoenix deck usually doesn't utilize, which is leveling it up. It puts it up to level 2, which means that it is going to make all non-creature spells Alex casts cost 1 less mana. So all those hidden strings only 1 mana to cast, and you can untap 3 mana that you generate. So this is going to be creating a ton of mana, and like you said, probably going for one of those ultimatum style effects. What we have here from Duda, we have the ability to discard that Fiery Temper, throwing that out there, and that's going to be a lot of damage coming across. So that's 3, 5, 8 altogether at Alex. So Alex is he's facing them dead next turn if he doesn't wind up finding something from this artist talent.
I think Duda just cast a Bone Crusher instead of playing the Fire Temper from off the top of the library.
Oh, okay. So it was just the exile effect
Yeah.
from Stromkirk Occultist. So okay, so we should have 3 more life here from Alex's side.
Yeah. Okay. So Alex cycling here. I'm not sure what the payoff here is on Alex's side though. I saw him draw another Vizier, so can spin the wheel a little bit more, but hard to say if he's got any actual action or because if he's at 11, Duda does have a set. Duda does have, let's see, Bone Crusher, Mutavault 6 plus 11. Duda does have 11 damage on board. So Alex needs to find something here.
Yeah, so we've been digging and untapping were the Viziers of Tumbling Sands, which were very hard for me to find on Scryfall for some reason. This artist talent now is going to be triggering off of this Consider, so we wind up discarding the Otawara, we play the Consider, we keep the card on top. Now we find a Thespian Stage, so we have the availability to copy our Lotus Field, but do we have the availability to keep going?
Yeah, so you're going to need... Okay, so it looks like he's going to copy the Lotus Field. Needs some strings here.
And we have the mana available for it, and we do technically only need 1 because we have this reduction coming in. So there's a hidden strings.
Okay, so yeah.
That's going to get us an artist talent trigger if we so choose. Artist talent is a may, so you don't have to, but we are going to wind up pitching it into the Flood Maw, drawing like another red card. Might just wind up being a second copy of artist talent.
I think that looks like other second land in his hand as well. Is that?
That doesn't bode well.
Uh...
All right, so Lotus Field number 2, the copied Thespian Stage. We're going to start adding red mana. What do we got? Is this artist talent? All right, we have to cast the artist talent to trigger the artist talent to hopefully find something if we only have this land in hand, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, just opting not to. All right, so that last card can't be a land. Otherwise, Alex is just dead, right?
Yeah. What could you have? So you have 7 blue and red. Okay, so now he's filtering green. I don't know what else to do here.
Like, this can't possibly be like a Genesis ultimatum and try to find something big, right? The deck has to have like a way to search through its deck to find the out that it needs. Looks like we're just...
Balaged, okay.
Okay. Oh, so I'm wondering if this deck is kind of more crutching on the Chandra loops.
It could be. That is a little awkward though, because you don't have a single card that will just win you the game.
Yeah.
Going like that. I don't know what Balaged can get back here though, because you have like a Consider or something.
Is that what you have to take? Because in order, you're not going to wind up getting anything off of your artist talent triggers.
Yeah.
So you need to like find something that's at least card neutral. All right. Big surveil, big draw. I think that was another land.
Yeah, this doesn't look good. It only has 4 mana available. Yeah, it looks like...
I feel like some of these Viziers might have been able to have been played as blockers too. And just surviving a block from the Kamano, surviving a block from the Stromkirk Occultist, that may have just been enough for it to be able to just stick around and start untapping naturally. I'm sorry, it would not survive from the Stromkirk Occultist. That is a 3/2. But yeah, so Alex, unfortunately, going to wind up fizzling despite having the double artist talent coming out here. Kevin Duda going to take game number 1 off of just good, clean, turn things sideways, mono red.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising there because Alex did have the early artist talent. I'm surprised Alex wasn't able to find any other action. It's kind of unlucky, I think.
I guess. All right, so going through the thought process on the Temur Lotus deck compared to the Lotus Field combo deck that we're very familiar with, because I am a little unfamiliar with the Temur list. Artist Talent is very good for basically replacing the dead cards in your hand or having things that you might want to like flashback if you have like a Leer or something in your deck.
Yeah.
That's you're basically you find a Leer, you can just kind of go to town because it doesn't matter if you're discarding cards, you're going to wind up casting them again anyway because everything has flashback.
Yeah.
The downside though is a lot of what Lotus is doing is going card down, like untapping things with hidden strings, or card neutral, like this version has Consider, but even then you don't really have a ton of card draw spells in your traditional Lotus deck unless you're cycling your Viziers. This one with the Artist Talent means that you're filtering and everything, but you're really reliant then on hitting like those poorer of the pages type cards.
Yeah, it looks like that. Because I imagine not without playing the white, right? Like typically your white gets you access to like temp lockdowns and sort of like your early interaction in the traditional Lotus Field. Here, I guess you're trading that for slightly more explosive, more consistent turn 4s, turn 5s, but I don't know if that's like where you kind of want to be these days. Obviously, here, there's not a lot of Rakdos fling in this area, but
yeah, I'm right here.
yeah. But it's yeah, I don't know. Honestly, like Artist How looks cool, but I'm not really seeing the appeal here.
I guess the really cool thing about the talent is it becomes your card filtering engine. But if you aren't when it came to the Lotus Field combo deck, you're playing very streamlined things to help tutor through your deck. So you wind up having basically having ways you have Sylvan Scryings to find the lands that you need, right? So you find your Thespian Sage, you find your Lotus Field. You have Pour Over the Pages, just raw card advantage because you're basically untapping more mana than you're using to cast those types of cards. And then you wind up having Dark Petition to find exactly what you need, and then the Emergent Ultimatum to find all the cards that you need. So if this deck is more about going all in on like the Chandra combo and you're not necessarily having the ability to find those specific cards, you are kind of just more at the mercy of the top of your deck.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Artist Talent lets you filter that more, but it's I guess the thinking is that like unlike in traditional Lotus, you don't have like a single card that will just win you the game anymore. Because even if you play something like a Chandra, you do need either like a Balaged to follow it up with. Chandra can sort of stabilize you, but it's not like I play this card and I win the game, like Emergent Ultimatum would be.
All right, well, Alex is going to be on the play for this game here, and we're going to see a Sleight of Hand being cast immediately off of that Botanical Sanctum. Take one, put one on the bottom, and then we pass the turn back to Duda, and we'll see if his... Ooh, okay, so we have Stone Brain.
Interesting. Stone Brain is one of those awkward cards, especially on the draw, I think, where Alex might just be able to play a Lotus Field before you Stone Brain, in which case it's very awkward what you should name.
Yeah, we saw Alex's deck last game and saw his hand, and I don't even know what I would name outside of that Lotus Field at this point. I mean, I guess blindly I name Chandra.
I think you should name Hidden Strings, because generally speaking, back in the old days when Mono Green Devotion played against the more traditional Lotus Field builds, they were supposed to Stone Brain Hidden Strings if there was already a Lotus on the field. I imagine the Temur deck is similar enough that you should still be Stone Braining Hidden Strings. I don't know if Duda has a lot of experience playing against this matchup, though, because...
I don't think either of us do.
Because I think Lotus is on kind of like a downswing.
All right. Throwing out the Stone Brain, though.
Yeah. I mean, this is the awkward spot, right? Where it's like Alex has the Lotus Field. Now Alex should just play the Lotus Field and... Dude is in a guessing game on what you should name.
I mean, we are going to wind up having to sacrifice our Thespian Stage to do so. So maybe we just wind up naming something like that. We got a second Sleight of Hand here from Alex. We see a third Sleight of Hand and something else that winds up actually getting put into hand here. So let's see here. Alex, face up Lotus Fields. Oh, doesn't play the Lotus Field, though. Oh, Artist Talent is going to wind up hitting the table instead. All right, so Stone Brain is on the table.
Interesting. Is Alex just planning on being a sort of
Good stuff.
Temur control deck at this point? Like, I don't know what exact. I don't know what exactly how this deck wins now that Lotus Field is gone.
All right, well, the good thing is we get to take a look at the deck. So we're going to wind up seeing what we have here. All right, we have Artist Talent. We have Lightning Strikes, Anger of the God. Yeah, I guess we just boarded into a Temur control deck with a bunch of untappers, some dig through times. What else we got here? Do we have any creature? The Leer is in there.
There's a Leer. Is there a Fae of Wishes? I don't actually know how you're supposed to win the game with just like a Leer. You didn't see any Chandras, did you?
I didn't see a Chandra itself. I see a Chandra's defeat. So we have Viziers. All right, so one of the things we can do here, right? So we have Leer. We have Artist Talent. We have multiple Artist Talents. Now, most importantly, we saw Alex level up Artist Talent in game number 1 to get the cost reduction. You could level it up again and then wind up having all of your Lightning Strikes deal 5 damage. So you could just wind up being like, I guess what the Pioneer version of Snapcaster Bolt is going to be, Leer Lightning Strike.
I guess that's an interesting. Okay, sure.
I mean, at this point too, all right. So we have double Thespian stage that can copy Duda's Mutavault as well. That's another way we can win the game, I guess.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm thinking level up pass here. Like, we have Chandra's Defeat from the sideboard to deal with any sort of big threats that come down from Duda's deck. Looks like it's just going to wind up... or no, it looks like Duda is reading Chandra's Defeat. So Alex actually just passes the turn back. So we have Vizier in hand, 2 unknown cards, a Hidden Strings, and a Chandra's Defeat. All right, this game is not going to go any way like the way I thought it might.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I thought for sure Alex was going to play the Lotus Field into the Stone Brain. But I mean, Alex must have a plan.
I mean, Duda's just activating and swinging. So Duda's coming in for 4. Alex should wind up being down to 13. Unfortunately, we don't have life pads on the screen right now for the players. So according to my math, this is how it should go. Playing that Kumano number 2 should wind up putting Alex down to 12. And Duda has an Abrade and some other lands in hand. Duda just might be on Kumano Mutavault beatdown.
I mean, with Alex's hand, that seems good enough. Alex has a removal spell for the first Kumano, but a lot of his hand is just like dirtly.
All right, so Alex looks like end of turn is making our Thespian stage into a copy of Spire Bluff Canals, and then is going to wind up firing off that Chandra's Defeat. So Chandra's Defeat winds up taking down the first copy of Kumano, although there is a second one coming down soon. But I guess most importantly, the Chandra's Defeat can't target Mutavault, so...
Yeah.
Looks like Alex does have a Judge question. Deck like this is bound to have a lot of interesting interactions, but with face-up information, we know that Alex has 4 available mana. 3 of it could take up that Artist Talent, which would then make that Hidden Strings in hand cost only 1 mana, so then you're going to wind up being able to untap 2. Maybe you cycle the Vizier, or maybe you just throw down the Vizier. I mean, we're all in this like weird speculative point at this point in time because Alex no longer has the namesake of his deck in his deck due to that Stone Brain.
Yeah, there's...
thanks, Duda. That is a Razorkin or Razor Verge Needlekin. The quick little smile there. Razorkin Needlehead, that is the name of it. So this is how Duda is going to potentially put a bigger clock down on Alex.
The red children, as it were.
Oh yeah. So
that's actually that's kind of a spicy one from his deck. Obviously very, very good into the Artist Talent. Alex, anytime Alex tries to spin the wheels, he's gonna take a lot of damage. I'm curious why Duda didn't just play it last turn. Oh, because Alex was just holding up the Chandra's Defeat.
Yeah, Alex had Chandra's Defeat. So now that Chandra's Defeat has been kind of done away with, now Duda can kind of play that Razorkin Needlehead unabated.
Yeah, it'll come in as a 3/3.
Ooh.
Not the ideal stat line against all the Lightning Strikes and Anger of the Gods, but see what Alex is thinking about here.
I mean, Mutavault plays pretty well in the Anger of the Gods, though.
Yeah.
Alex is never going to be able to get those off the table unless he starts pointing the removal spells, which we think are his win condition, at the Mutavaults.
Alex is deep in the tank here still.
The Lotus Fields are gone, but we still got to do a bunch of math to figure out what we're going to do with these tapping and untapping spells.
Yeah. I wonder if he...
All right, so cards in, it looks like there's at least one more land. And then both of us are doing the quick 90-degree turn to try to see what Alex has, thinking we could turn our screen sideways to see. All right, so the Lotus Fields are gone, but this is exactly what I expected from this Lotus Field deck. Is just be, oh, there's a dig through time in hand. Okay, that's uncastable right now, unless we tap out. All right, so we are level up.
What is... I really don't know how Alex is going to win this game from this point. There's just... Because, like, even if you assemble sort of like Lear, Duda just might have like too many creatures that you have to throw removal at to actually kill him with lightning strikes.
Exactly. And at this point, I guess Alex is passing the turn back, only has 1 mana available. Actually did not have a 5th land in hand. So that's also going to stunt whatever sort of backup game plan that he has. And there's the Razorkin.
Okay. I imagine Alex probably has a removal spell left over. Mutavault's coming in.
And so Razorkin should have a counter from the Kamano. So swings in. Alex should go down to 10. There's no responses here. Now Alex is just gonna untap. All right. So
Okay.
we have our looter talent. We have the ability to reduce spells by 1.
Drew another dig through time. He has to... This is so awkward because he has to start casting spells and looting away to be able to cast the dig through time, but the Needlehead is just gonna...
Yeah, it's kind of stymieing things right now. And not having land number 5 is also making it very awkward here. Because otherwise you could like float 2 mana, cast your hidden strings, untap your mana, and you could wind up playing a dig through time that way.
Yeah. Is that a wish in his hand?
Oh, okay. So maybe there's no Fae of Wishes, but just straight up wish to get something from the sideboard to win.
Yeah. Though, even if he does have a wish, I don't know what he can get here.
I mean, without the Lotus Fields in hand too, or the Lotus Fields in deck anymore, that's also pretty awkward because I'm assuming that means that like maybe you're wishing for like the ultimatum or wishing for like your win condition, but you don't have the mana to do all that anymore.
Yeah. So it looks like Alex is trying to generate red, it looks like, by casting.
So you have a wish, and does that mean there's like an Anger of the Gods in hand maybe?
Maybe there's an Anger of the Gods on the sideboard? But even with an Anger... Okay, and Alex is choosing not to loot with the Artist Talent.
Yeah, that's a quick way to death with that Razorkin Needlehead on the battlefield. Oh, okay, so there was an Anger of the Gods.
Okay, I think Alex needs to tap... No, because Anger is reduced by 1 as well.
Yeah, Anger is reduced by 1, so you only need to have double red. And we did have that Thespian stage being a copy of Spire Bluff Canals as well, so we still have that available.
So Alex should have no red at this point, right?
We used the blue, we untapped, and then we had a red floating and tapped only 1 red. So yeah, Alex should have no red mana left over because we didn't actually tap the... Yeah, okay, there we go. We didn't actually tap the Thespian stage as part of this. So now we have a Vizier in hand. There's nothing on Duda's battlefield yet, but next turn there's 6 damage coming across that from the Kamano and the pair of Mutavaults if Duda just does nothing. But we also know that Duda has a Fiery Temper in hand, so any sort of discard effect could just be very dangerous for Alex and put him down to 1.
Maybe Alex is just thinking about playing this Vizier to block?
And it's probably the way to go at this point. I mean, from Duda's side, I know Duda packs Inties in his deck, and if you go land Inti, that's pretty dangerous, but Alex is just going to pass the turn.
What is... I'm... kind of what is Alex holding up the Vizier for here?
I'm not entirely sure. The Vizier is a 1/3, so it just bounces off of any of these attackers that are coming in. So Duda, all right, Alex is going to take the damage. Puts Alex down to 4, Fiery Temper in hand.
Has a dig through time.
All right, so I guess we're digging. Reduce the cost by one. Oh, okay, we're gonna cycle first.
So it has to delve first
Okay, so
to
we
make
delve
sure
away.
that you can pay the cost. Okay, so
All right, I guess we're discarding Vizier. Ooh, mana confluence is not where you want to be right now.
no, I'm surprised he just didn't cycle the Vizier then, because he still has a free mana up after playing the dig through time.
And we know there's second dig in hand. If the hand is dig, wish, dig, Vizier, I mean that's rough because like you have dig. You probably want to cast a second dig at this point to really try to go through your deck and find your out in this case. But it's so difficult. Like if you're holding on to that wish as the way you're winning the game and you pitch the Vizier, that's your way to survive at this point.
This is also really awkward because Alex, that second thespian stage is colorless. So even if he had like some considers or something, you can't cast them right now.
Yeah, I believe it's just a colorless thespian stage. We saw consider being taken off of that dig through time as well, which means that we can't cast that at end of turn.
Yeah, that's kind of devastating there.
All right, so Alex is facing down lethal if he passes the turn to Duda. Duda gets the look of like, what's going on here? I don't know what the heck is going on. All right, Otawara gets played as a land. That is step number 1. This is probably consider off of said Otawara. We have a trigger from our artist talent. Probably want to pitch an excess land. We draw a second mana confluence. Now we get to consider. In the tank about the card on top.
This is a really weird spot because like I imagine Alex is just looking for pour over the pages, but without a Lotus Field in play, your pours are going to cost 2 mana in total because you get to untap 2 lands. The pour is going to be reduced to 4, and then you get to untap 2 lands.
All right, so we got pour over the pages. But what can we do with our remaining mana? We've already played land for turn. We have 2 mana remaining. I guess we have the copied thespian stage. So I mean, like lightning strike technically keeps us alive unless Duda has land in hand. In which case we got land hard cast fiery temper. But Alex
looks like he has a hidden strings. Also looks like he has at least 1 bounce spell in hand. So
we untap 2. Man, we're really generating mana the hard way without these Lotus Fields.
Yeah, this is playing Lotus on. This is very difficult.
It was empty the Warrens in Pioneer because Alex could build up a very easy storm count, but I know there's no storm cards in Pioneer for him to actually get a payoff from, unless you get Ral, I guess.
Yeah. Or that new otter, right?
Yeah. Oh, the Storm Splitter Otter.
Yeah.
All right,
okay.
we're going for a consider.
Still digging.
And speaking of digging, that goes to the graveyard. Dig through time. All right, we do a red card. Don't know what that red card is. And now we get our Surveil trigger. All right, thespian stage hits the yard. All right, we drew a lightning strike.
That can answer one thing.
Yeah. Did we draw 2 lightning strikes? A lightning strike and a Chandra's defeat? What else does Alex have? I mean, another hidden strings would be... Okay, we have an Into the Flood Maw. That's that bounce spell you were talking about. So Alex passes the turn. Does Duda have land? Duda has land. All right, we're starting off at Fiery Temper, and I guess Alex was only at 3. So that's it. Or I guess there's just too many threats on the battlefield at that point for Alex to even kind of contend with at least one of them slipping through. 2 removal spells was not going to be enough, and it is going to be Kevin Duda on the Svelte red deck, taking it against the Temur Lotus deck 2-0. Linear game plan beat out the more convoluted game plan in that game.
Linear game plan, but Kevin had a lot of action.